What's going on, guys? This is Lars, Sidewall Jedi, here at STX headquarters in Baltimore. We're here today to talk about stringing a pocket that is very specific for face-off guys. This is a dual 2. This is the same setup that I've been giving to Joe Nardella, one of our STX athletes, for the past year or so. It's the same kind of stringing to the outside of the head. We're gonna go through a little bit of a pattern for you, and more so specifically show you a style and talk about why it'll help face-off guys very specifically with making sure that they're taking their game to the next level. So, as you can see here on this sidewall, you notice that I did string around, similar to the double inside, I strung around the inside of the sidewall here. I call this style, going from the outside in, double outside. I don't know if it makes sense, but that's the name that we're going with, and hopefully you like it. The reason why we're going in from the outside is we want to make sure that the mesh stays pulled to the outside. Any face-off guy who's taken enough draws knows that the mesh and typically the string and the knots will get folded to the inside of the head. And depending upon how old or how broken in your stick is, if it's getting all bent, the mesh and the string sometimes can get in the way of the ball. When you're using a stick strung like this, no matter how bent out of shape the head is, once you pop it out to yourself, you can be positive that the ball is going to come out easy and exactly where you want. I'm going to start by starting the sidewall in the next hole coming down underneath where I tied off the top string. Just like with both sides of the top string, I'm going to go through these holes twice. I'm doing that because I just want to make sure that everything stays as tight as possible, pulling the mesh all the way up to the side of the head. I don't want anything to be loose. So as I did on this side, I'm going to skip those first 2 holes. Just a reminder, this is the front side of the mesh, the side that you're going to catch the ball and the ball is going to sit in. And this is the back side of the mesh, the side of the mesh that drags along the ground when you're scooping ground balls. So I'm pulling down, I've already tied off the top of the sidewall right there. I'm going to skip those first 2 holes. So this round one right here is the one that I'm going to go through next. Now I'm going to go back to front through the mesh. And now I'm going outside in this way, but I'm going to go through the middle of the sidewall area here, pulling it like that. And then I am going to come back through this loop that I just created. So that's the way that wants to look. If you get to this point, or you get there going through any of the holes through the rest of the sidewall, if you come around like this and this part of the string isn't kept tight to the plastic, take a second, loosen it back up, bring the end of the string through that loop and tie that off tight. Now, I'm going to go back through that same hole of mesh front to back. So going from this way to that way, coming like this, back through that same hole. This is going to pull that hole of the mesh down and starting to go out to the outside. As we did over on this side, I'm skipping 1 hole in the plastic. I'm going to go through the next hole of mesh, back to front here, pulling that down. Now I'm going to go through this hole right here, going outside in, through the sidewall, through the big opening in the sidewall strut, pulling that tight, pulling it all the way down. As I did with the first hole of mesh, I'm going back through front to back this way, pulling the mesh down. Now remember, this opens everything up east-west, or it pulls it wide east-west, and also it's pulling it down north-south. I'm going to go back to front through that hole of mesh. I'm skipping another hole right there. So I'm going down 1, 2 more. Outside in here, through the middle of the sidewall, bring the string through the loop, tightening everything up. Then I bring the string back, go back through that same hole of mesh, front to back, tightening it up and pulling it down. Now, for all of the stringers out there that remember stringing code, so this is double outside SI, double outside SI, double outside SI. Now, as you can see on this side over here, I've done the same thing to that point, and then I'm gonna just start doing, I've got a couple of ones, a 2 and a 1. So it's double outside SI, 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 plus 1, 1, 1, 2, 1. I'll walk you through that on this side. So I'm gonna go back to front, and there's no more SI, so I'm only gonna go through this hole of mesh once. I go back to front here, but I'm gonna keep going double outside down the rest of the sidewall. So I'm still going outside in, bring that through the hole in the sidewall, pulling it down and tightening. But I'm not gonna go through that hole of mesh. I'm going one more hole down in the piece of mesh. So it's a new hole, back to front, outside to in, through the middle of the sidewall that way, pull it tight. Brand new hole of mesh, back to front, going from the outside in, bringing that string through the middle of the sidewall, through the loop, tighten. Now on the Dual 2, the distance between some of these holes at the bottom is a little bit bigger than at the top. So this is one of the times where I'm going to go through 2 holes of mesh rather than just 1. That's the only time that I'm going to go through 2 holes of mesh in this pattern. Outside in, bring it through the inside of the sidewall, pull it tight. So I'm going to go through 1 more hole of mesh. I'm going back to front to pull that down. No, I'm not going to do a double inside on this last one right here. I'm going to go outside in. I'm going to come back up to this hole that I just went through before. And this is where I'm going to end up tying off my sidewall. So I can tie that off right there. So as you can see on this side, as well as on this side, the mesh is pulled further to the outside of the plastic itself, so that even when, after I break in this pocket, you'll see that the string is going to stay exactly where it is, and there's no chance the string is going to get pulled to the inside. The only thing that's going to be on the inside here is the mesh itself, and that's not going to get in the way of the ball. Now, I'm going to put a bottom string in this, and then I'm going to break the pocket in and let you see the finished product. Now, like we've done in some of the other videos, we're going to take the trusty baseball bat, and I'm going to break this pocket in for you. And just like with some of the other pieces of mesh, you're going to see how much this stuff is going to open up when you break it in the right way to begin with. As you can see, the pocket has gotten significantly bigger. Ball's gonna sit right there in the middle. And the most important thing, well, I should say, most important thing about stringing like this is that when you win the clamp and you pop the ball and you pinch and you pop the ball out to yourself, that even if the head is bent, you're still gonna be able to have the ball come out of the back of the stick easily. The second most important reason why we string like this is when the head is bent, it's going to be easy to throw with. And that's one of the most important things that I don't think a lot of face-off guys think about when they string their face-off heads. Because yes, you need to be able to make sure that you are winning the face-off itself, but most of the time, face-off heads are going to get bent to some degree or another. And a lot of guys I've seen in the college ranks, especially in high school and at the youth levels, face-off guys are using sticks that once they bend, they are unthrowable and they literally have to just pop the ball up to somebody, and that's not what you want to be able to do. You want to be able to, using Joe Nardella as a great example, he wants to be able to pick up ground balls easy, and with something like this, the pocket is right there in the middle. It's not too tight up top. It's not flat up there at the top. He wants to be able to pick up ground balls easy, and if he has the opportunity to go to the goal, he's going. He's not going to hesitate because he knows a setup like this is going to throw and going to shoot really well, regardless if it's the first shot that's taken and the head is brand new, or if he's been using the same head and it's perfect and it's broken in and he's been using it for 4 games, it's going to do exactly what he wants to do. Doing it this way is going to be a major help. It's going to help you be more consistent. It's going to help your game. Thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate it. Hope this helps, and I'll see you out on the field.